Okay. Good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. We are discussing about the get the truth. We are discussing about the natural products. In natural products, the extraction methods we completed. No, the extraction methods completed, and today we last day we discussed the chromatography types also. No? The chromatography types, how many chromatography types we discussed? There are three main chromatography methods. What are the methods? I told the first method is the paper chromatography. The paper chromatography. There are three chromatography method. In this lesson, I told there are three main steps. The first one is extraction. Under extraction, we discussed three methods: soft extraction, extraction by pressing with wax, and distillation. They are the extraction methods. Okay, extraction methods: distillation, solvent extraction, and extraction by pressing with wax. Different according to the compound, the suitable extraction method we need to uh, found. Every factors need to consider to find the suitable method we discussed last day, and every doubt we solved. And today we discuss today and last day we start about separation and identification methods. In the separation and identification method, we mainly discuss three main methods. The main method is chromatography. The main method is chromatography. Chromatography. In chromatography, there are three main types we discussed. We discussed in mainly three types. The first one is paper chromatography. The first one is paper chromatography. Paper chromatography. Paper chromatography. The second one is thin layer chromatography. As I told last day, it we called as TLC. Thin layer chromatography. Thin layer chromatography. The third one is uh, column chromatography. Column chromatography. Column chromatography. Yeah, but the mother field. This is mother later on find out. Column chromatography. Who is mic on? Okay, now okay. Okay, they are the main chromatography types we discussed in this lesson. They are the main chromatography types. In this lesson, last day I only explained about paper chromatography, right? Am I right? We only completed about the paper chromatography. Am I right? We only completed paper chromatography. Okay. Now, can you explain what are the steps of paper chromatography? Steps of paper chromatography. Okay. First of all, as I told, yeah, this is that part we discussed. Then today we need to discuss the TLC method and column chromatography. After that, we move into purification methods. Okay, we move into purification method. Okay, that's the plan of today lesson. Okay, before go to the today lesson, can you explain the steps of paper chromatography? The first of all, Yeah, there is a question, sir. In paper chromatography, there is a circulation part. As in 2024 paper, RF value. Yes, that's our next part we need to discuss in this lesson. Okay, don't worry. Okay, okay. Ask what is the first step in paper chromatography? Step by step. Remember the first one. You need to prepare the solvent chamber. The solvent chamber is, I told, it is jam. We can use jam bottle or jam bottle size beaker. We can use as solvent chamber. Okay, this is the solvent chamber. Solvent chamber. Solvent chamber. Solvent chamber. Then what is the next step? Suitable solvent. Suitable solvent I explained last day according to the polarity. According to the polarity, a suitable solvent add into the solvent chamber 1 centimeter height. 1 centimeter height. Then we need to close the solvent chamber by whatever glass or petri plate and keep up to 20 minutes. Keep 20 minutes. What is the purpose of this one? What is the function of this 20 minutes? Close the solvent chamber and keep 20 minutes. What's the purpose? What's the purpose? I explained last. Shevon, what's the purpose? Very good. To saturate the solvent chamber with solvent vapor. Very good. To saturate the solvent chamber with solvent vapor. Very good. This is the reason. Okay. Then 20 minutes we need to keep the solvent chamber. Keep 20 minutes. Until within this 20 minutes, you can prepare your chromatography paper. You can prepare your chromatography paper. The chromatography paper is like this. The chromatography paper, do you remember what is the name of this chromatography paper? The name, send me the name of the chromatography paper. Name of the chromatography paper. Name of the chromatography paper. Yeah, Watchman #1 chromatography paper. No, I asked name, not size. Yeah, good. Size also you remember, good. It should be a 4 centimeter and 8 centimeter length and 4 centimeter length. That is a Watchman #1 chromatography paper. Okay, Watchman #1 chromatography paper. Now, what do you need to do? You need to prepare this chromatography paper. First of all, you need to get a very thin pencil. Very thin pencil and draw a, what is the name of this line? What's the name? The below line. What is it? 1.5 centimeter above the lower end. 1.5 centimeter. What's the name? What's the name of this line? Very good. Very good. It is baseline. 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 After that, again using same pencil. Using same pencil. We need to draw another line 1 centimeter below from the upper end. 1 centimeter below from the upper end. What is the name? What's the name? Very good. Others? What's the name? Mahima, are you there? Nice. What is the name? No, Arshit, wrong. Yeah, correct, but spelling wrong. Only three. How about others? Send me. What is the name? Yeah. Not the Solon like. Amal, they are scientific names. You need to remember all full name. Not Solon like. This line name is solvent front line. 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 Okay, this is the two lines required in the chromatography paper. This is the name is Watchman number 1 chromatography paper. Okay, then after that we need to get the extracted crude product, extracted unpure crude product, and we need to get a glass rod to place the sample using this crude product. We need to get a very small sample drop, and we need to keep on the baseline. And as an example, we need to prepare a very pure control sample. This is a sample, that is crude product sample. This is pure control sample. The second one, at minimum, one sample should be control. Otherwise, we can't identify. Okay, at least one. If you want, you can the B also another crude product we can use. Okay, the A and B both crude product. The C is the control. No issue. Okay, the C is the control. The A and B crude product samples. Okay, now what to do? Now get the solvent chamber, and after 20 minutes, get the solvent chamber and place the chromatography paper with samples, in the solvent chamber. When it is placed, we can see the solvent line is gradually increasing because already saturated, the solvent chamber already saturated with the solvent vapor. Therefore, the solvent front line, we can see the solvent front, that means solvent line, the gradually increasing with small color change we can observe. Okay, we can observe small color change, it's gradually increasing. Okay, after that, when it is come to the solvent front line, the solvent line come to the solvent front line, we need to get out this chromatography paper. We need to get out this chromatography paper. After that, different, I told different colors and lights and visualizing agents. Using these agents, we can observe this chromatography paper. Then, if you can see this A and B are crude product, A and B crude product, A and B, you can see there are more impure compounds. There are more compounds, more number of compounds, because they have a lot of impurity. Not only one compound, but the C is the control. The C is the compound that don't have impurities. Therefore, it has only one compound. It has only one compound. Okay, this is the story of the paper chromatography. Up to now, I got Up to now, any doubt? Any step doubt up to now? Arshat, up to now, okay? Yeah. RF value, this is our next part. Oh. What? Name, use English, I don't know. What you asking? Yeah, send me English, I don't know Tamil. Okay. In the due I given all steps, you can read. The chromatograph paper should be placed in the solvent as shown in the figure 2. The baseline should not touch the solution. Why is that? Always when we place the chromatograph paper inside the solvent chamber, that's why we get 1 centimeter solvent height and the baseline is 1.5. The solvent must not be touch the solvent layer. Why that? Why? What's the reason? Can you explain? That can be exam question. Why is that? The solvent layer, the solvent must not touch the baseline. Why? Why? Can you think? Why this solvent layer touch the baseline? What happened? Amar, what do you think? This solvent layer, it is 1 centimeter. Somehow, with mistake, if it is increased up to baseline, what happened? What happened? Very good. The solvent might dissolve the samples. What is our purpose on this? Yeah, it will mix with the solvent. Very good. What is our target? What is our purpose? We need to carry these samples, compounds upward through the chromatography paper with solvent. The solvent is going upward with this solvent. We need to carry these compounds upward. If it is dissolved in the solvent, we cannot get this purpose. Okay, that's why always the baseline little bit above from the, we need to maintain little bit above from the solvent line. Okay, solvent level. Okay. Okay, read the note. When the, I'm reading the page number 12. Page number 12. When the solvent front rise to 1 centimeter from the top edge, that means 1 centimeter from the top edge means the solvent front line. No, 1 centimeter from the top edge means it is solvent front line. Remember, of the paper, remove the paper and mark the solvent front with the pencil. This one little bit different, but I explained one is the correct. First of all, you need the both one okay. The both one okay. The recommend way is mark the solvent front early and place the paper, but the tute notes given after place the paper and mark the solvent front. Both method okay, but any method you can remember both okay. Somehow you need to mark the solvent front 1 centimeter below the top edge. Colorless compounds are present. Some visualizing agents, spray agent can spray it into the paper and we can see clearly there. Then separate compounds can be clearly seen and mark them with the help of a pencil. Or they might appear as treatment dryers. Okay, there are different dryers. Compound can be clearly seen and marked by. We can mark these points by a pencil again for easy observation. Okay, they are passing work. That means after this practical, we can observe for getting observation. We can mark this by visual agents. When we observe, we can mark these points by pencil and we can observe for our easy calculations. Easy calculations. Now I will explain what is a calculation. Okay, what is a calculation? Okay, that's the full paper chromatography. Paper chromatography. Okay. Our next topic is identify the compounds on this chromatography paper by the RF value. By RF value. What is the meaning of this RF value? RF value. What's the meaning of this RF value? The RF value means this is a ratio between the RF value is a ratio. RF value. And there is a mistake in the tube. In the topic, identify the components in the sample by calculating the RH value given in the tube. I found RH value. It's wrong. It should be RF. RF. Capital F. Please correct that. In the tube, the first topic given, identify the components in the sample by calculating the RH value. It's wrong. It should be RF value. Capital F. Are you correct that? I found RF, not RH. Mistake. Okay. The RF value is the RF value. That's a very simple calculation. The RF value is the distance traveled by the compound. Okay, that's a ratio. The ratio distance traveled by the compound, any compound, okay, divide by distance traveled by the solvent. Okay, this ratio is the RF value. The RF value is the distance traveled by the compound divided by distance traveled by the solvent. Distance traveled by the compound over distance traveled by the solvent. This ratio we call as the RF value. Okay, as example, think this is a chromatography paper. Think this is a chromatography paper. Think this is a chromatography paper. Okay, this is the baseline. This is the baseline. This is the solvent front line. This is the solvent front line. If I say the RF value, I'm going to get RF values. RF value, understand carefully. And this is the A sample, my A sample. And this is the control sample. The control one is, I told this is purified sample. The control one is purified sample as I told last day. Then think as example, the A crude product has 3 samples like this. A crude product has C compound like this. The C is purified, therefore it has only 1 compound. The C is purified, therefore it has only one compound. Okay, now I will mark this is A1, A2 and A3 for our easy understand. Using pencil we can name them. Okay, using pencil we can name that I will mark as C1. C1, no, it is C. It is C control, no D12. Okay. Now I am going to get the RF value of A1 compound. A1 this compound RF value I am going to calculate. Okay. Then think the total height of the chromatography watchman number 1 paper is 8 centimeter. Then solvent travel distance what? It is 1.5 centimeter. 1.5 centimeter. Then it is 1 centimeter. Then what is the solvent travel distance? The solvent is travel point from this point to this point. What is the distance? 1.5 plus 1, it is 2.5. 8 minus 2.5. What is the solvent travel distance? 5.5. That's example. It is 5.5. 5.5. Now, what is the A? Think the A1 distance is 1 centimeter. Okay. The A1 distance is 1 centimeter from the baseline. Example. Okay. 1 centimeter from the baseline. Then think it is 1 centimeter. Now, centimeter to centimeter cancel out. The RF value is coming 1 over 5.5. What is the RF value? 1 over 5.5. What is the RF value? 1 over 5.5. This is the RF value of A1 point. A1 compound RF value is that. Simple. Okay, very simple. The A1 compound RF value is that. 0.1. Is there any unit? No any unit. The centimeter to centimeter cancel out. No any units. Okay, this is the RF value. Okay, now I am going to get the RF value. RF value of the A2 point. A2 compound. A2 compound. The solvent travel distance is not changing. It is 5.5. Think the up to A2, the from baseline it is 3 centimeter. 3 centimeter from the baseline. Yeah, they given. If there any question came to calculate the RF values, they given distance. Don't worry. They given. Okay, we discussed. Don't worry. Every past paper question, model paper question, we discussed at the end of the lesson. Don't worry. Okay. The 5.5. Think the compound travel distance is 3 centimeter. Centimeter to centimeter cancel out. 3 over 5.5. 0.54. 0.54. This is the RF value. Okay. Then RF value of A3 compound, the final compound. Think it is 5 centimeter. Think it is 5 centimeter distance. The solvent travel distance is 5.5 centimeter. 5.5 centimeter. The 5 centimeter travel the compound. 5 centimeter travel the compound. Centimeter to centimeter cancel out the value addition. 5 over 5.5. No need addition. What? Anyone? 0.90. 0.90. Okay, they are the RF values A1, A2, A3. Okay. Now, finally, you need to, they are the RF values. Then finally you need to get the RF value of the control sample. RF value of the control sample C1. Important. Important. Then the RF value of the control sample, think this distance is 3 centimeter. 3 centimeter. And the solvent distance is same, 5.5 centimeter. The 3 centimeter, the value is coming 0.53, sorry, 54, 0.54. This is the control sample RF. Okay, now understand, according to the value of RF values in between each compound and control sample, we can say the purified control sample, think as cinnamaldehyde or vasicine, whatever purified compound. Okay, then we can identify the purified cinnamaldehyde. If it is sample is cinnamaldehyde, this cinnamaldehyde RF value and this A2 RF value is same. Then we can identify this A crude product has contained cinnamaldehyde. According to the RF value, we decide is this available or not. Simply according to the distance. Okay, according to the distance, the compound is travel with the solvent. Understood? Then what others? Other compounds are impurities. They are impurities. They are impurities. Any doubt? Okay, very important point. They are always, every essay questions, they are the part of the questions. Therefore, any part don't miss. We discuss lessons after now industry chemistry, environmental chemistry, whatever lesson, don't miss any part, because these lessons are very important. Always essay questions come from these parts. Okay, understood? Send me all. Madhusha? Madhusha Nayago? Amar? Ashar? Arif Ali, okay? Good. Okay, the RF value is calculated by dividing the distance traveled by the each component by the distance traveled by the solvent front. Solvent front means solvent traveling distance. The R, not R, H value, RF, it should be correct. The RF value is important point. Okay, now tell me, what is the maximum value that can come for the RF value? What is the maximum value that we can obtain? RF value, what is the maximum? Maximum value is What's the yes? The maximum value is. Uh, is there any problem come to video? Adisha, is there any problem with the video? No. Madhushan, that's your connection issue. Others don't have problem. Okay. Okay. Sometimes only that's with my video quality. If your connection not enough, that's why it's become blur. Others don't have problem. Arshad, yeah, no problem, no. Okay, the 5.5 is a constant. No, Amar. If I got 8 centimeter height, 8 centimeter height chromatography paper, the 1.5 is baseline, the 1 centimeter solvent front line, then it is 5.5. If I got more than 10 centimeter like chromatography paper, that is changing. The question it is given what is the solvent front distance they are given. Okay, we can discuss in the question. The recommend size is 8 centimeter, but that's not a rule. That's not a rule. If you want, you can get 10 centimeter height paper. Okay, but these measurements are fixed. Okay, 1.5 is the baseline height. 1 centimeter is the solvent front line. They are fixed. They you can't change, but other the paper size like the solvent chamber size they can be changed. Okay, that's all about the paper chromatography. I have given some diagram also. You can refer them. The baseline, solvent front line. Okay, I have given, and after visualizing, you can see I have given some picture. After visualizing, these points you can observe like this. Points you can observe like this. Okay. Then we can mark these points. Mark these points by pencil and get the distance from the baseline. We can calculate the RF value. We can calculate the RF value, and we can identify these compounds present or not in our crude sample, crude product. The control sample, purified sample, present or not in our crude product. Okay, any doubt if you have about paper chromatography, you can ask now. If there are any doubt about paper chromatography, you can ask now. I can give you 30 seconds. Any doubt you can ask. Any step doubt? No? Okay, now we move into thin layer chromatography. Thin layer chromatography. The method is TLC. Remember the name TLC. The TLC means thin layer chromatography. Thin layer chromatography. If you understood the paper chromatography well, the thin layer chromatography is very simple. Okay. In this thin layer chromatography, the first step, within 2 minutes, I will complete that. Focus well. Okay, the thin layer chromatography, the first one, you need to prepare a solvent chamber, same as paper chromatography. Then you need to add a suitable solvent according to the polarity, suitable solvent up to 1 centimeter height. 1 centimeter height. 1 centimeter height. Then you need to close the solvent chamber and you need to close the solvent chamber, keep 20 minutes. For what? The same reason. For what? To saturate the solvent chamber by the solvent vapor. To saturate the solvent chamber with solvent vapor. Solvent chamber. Solvent chamber. Solvent chamber. This is the first step. Okay. Only second step little bit different. Understand? In the second step, in the second step, in the second step, in the second step, the paper chromatography we use Watchman number 1 chromatography paper. But in this thin layer chromatography, we have to get a glass layer, the glass layer with the same size, that is 3.5 to 4 centimeter width and 8 centimeter height. That can be changed. Okay, that can be changed according to our selection. According to our selection, that can be changed. That's not a rule. That's a recommended size. Okay, recommended size only. That this only can be changed in these methods. Other all values are fixed values. They you can't change. Okay, these values you can't change. It must be 1 centimeter. Okay, then I got a uh, glass plate. Okay, this is a glass plate. Think this is a glass plate. This is a glass plate. Okay, now now the laboratory available the silica gel powder. The laboratory you can find from the laboratory the silica gel powder. The silica gel powder, you can get some amount of silica gel powder. Silica gel powder. Silica gel powder, and you can heat and then it is melting. After that, like a gel, you can it is a melt, it is a solution. Then you can get this uh, glass plate, and you can add some amount of silica gel on this glass plate and prepare very thin silica gel layer on this glass plate. That's why we called as thin layer. It must be very thin silica gel layer on this glass plate. Very thin uh, silica gel layer on this glass plate. Okay, very thin silica gel layer. As do you remember pressing with wax? Pressing with wax. What is the layer we prepared? the paraffin wax layer. Don't mix them. Okay. In the pressing with wax, on the glass plate, we prepare a very thin layer with paraffin wax. But in the TLC method, in the thin layer chromatography method, we prepare a very thin layer on the glass plate with silica gel, silica or alumina gel. Silica or alumina gel also okay. Alumina gel. Whatever gel, alumina gel. Alumina gel. Silica or alumina gel you can use as a thin layer. Then after you prepare a thin layer on this glass plate, again you need to get a very thin pencil. Again you need to get very thin pencil like this. You need to draw the, using pencil, you have to draw the baseline like this. It should be very thin. It should be very thin. Like this. This is the baseline. Say on the gel layer. No worry, okay. On the gel layer, same as the paper chromatography, you need to draw the using pencil. You need to draw the baseline on this gel layer. On this gel layer. Okay, this is the baseline. Baseline. After that, using same pencil, you can draw the solvent front line 1 centimeter below. That is 1.5 centimeter. This is 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter. Now you already know this is solvent front line. Solvent front line. Solvent front line. Solvent front line. Okay, what I did? First of all, so I prepared the solvent chamber, same as paper chromatography. Next step, I got solvent. I got a glass plate with the same size as chromatography paper we used in the previous method. Then we prepare a very thin silica gel layer on this glass plate, and we using a thin pencil, we draw the baseline and solvent front line with same measurements. Okay. Next step, same as paper chromatography. After 20 minutes, open the solvent chamber and place the chromatography glass plate in this solvent chamber. Okay, place the glass plate in this chromatography chamber. Solvent chamber. Okay, solvent chamber. Then same as paper chromatography, you can see the solvent vapor gradually go up through this silica gel layer. It's going up. Then the solvent layer go to this solvent front line. Again, we need to get the this glass plate out, and we can observe as previous. Observe as this is a baseline solvent front line. Then using whatever coloring agent or whatever visualizing agent, we can observe these points. Observe this compound. Sorry, we can observe this compound. This is the thin layer chromatography. This is the A, and this is A and controls arm. I got, or do I need to explain? Again? Yeah. The difference is what? In paper chromatography, we use chromatography paper. The thin layer chromatography, we use a glass plate with the thin layer of silica gel. Okay, I forgot here. I forgot. Uh, Same as paper chromatography. After draw this baseline and solvent front line, you need to place samples using glass rod. Same instrument, same equipment. Using glass rod, you need to take a crude product sample and control sample on this baseline, and after that we place the this plate in the solvent chamber. Okay, others are good. Any doubt? Any doubt? Okay, I will explain the give me 1 minute. I have a problem with my sound. No, the question is asking the C is cinnamon. No, Arshad, the C is any PO sample we need to identify. Think I want to identify this crude product. A crude product contains cinnamon. Then your C should be uh, I want to identify this A crude product contain vasicine. Example, vasicine means added leaves. Then your C should be vasicine, purified vasicine. I got, if it is I want to identify cinnamaldehyde, then C must be cinnamaldehyde purified. If I want to identify whatever nicotine like compound, then the C must be nicotine, purified nicotine. That's a control mean, that's purified sample. The A is the unpurified sample with impurities. That's why it's the crude product sample. I got. Ashit, okay? Okay, now I will explain again. Uh, First of all, same as paper chromatography, you have to prepare the solvent chamber, 1 centimeter, suitable solvent up to 1 centimeter height, and close the solvent chamber. The reason is close the chamber and keep 20 minutes for uh, the saturate the solvent chamber with solvent paper. Okay, after that, instead of paper, in this method, you have to get a glass plate with same dimensions, and you have to prepare very thin layer of silica gel on this glass plate. Very thin. It should be very thin. And using a thin pencil, you can draw the baseline 1.5 centimeter above the uh, below edge, and the 1 centimeter below uh, above edge, you have to write, you have to draw the solvent front line, same as paper. Using very thin pencil you want to use. Okay, same equipment as previous method. Okay, after that, after 20 minutes, before that, using glass rod, you have to put samples, and you can add more than one sample. Okay, more than one thing, A, B, C, D. You can add more than one sample, and one control sample must be placed on the baseline, and crude product samples you can add on the baseline. Okay, after that, after 20 minutes, you can open the solvent chamber and place the this glass with silica gel layer. You can place in the solvent chamber like this. In this method also, we need to avoid touch the vapor like solvent level with the samples. We need to avoid same as previous, and when it is go through the silica gel, and when it is coming to the solvent front line, we need to take out this glass plate, and using whatever light or color or whatever visualizing agent, we have to observe these compounds. After observe, you can see like these compounds. The A sample, a crude product sample has more than one compound because it's not purified. The purified control sample, only one sample, only one compound, Then again, we need to identify, we need to measure the dimension, we need to measure the distance from baseline from each compound distance, and get the distance between baseline and solvent front line. The solvent distance, you have to again calculate the each point RF value. After that, you need to calculate the control sample RF value. Then the RF value of the control sample and any other compound is matching. It is same. Then we can identify this compound, this control sample compound, purified compound contained in the crude product. It is available in the crude product. Are you good? That's the full story of the thin layer chromatography. In the exam, that's the most possible, mostly asked question, the TLC method, thin layer chromatography. This is the mostly asked part in the exam. Tell me all, any doubt or clear? Amar, Arshad, clear? Amar, any doubt? Shevon? Mahima? Okay, go to the tube. In thin layer chromatography, the stationary results I will explain later. The steps, go to the steps. Mix about 5 grams of silica gel with water and make a paste. 5 grams, they don't need some, whatever silica gel solution we need to make. And spread it evenly as a thin layer on 8 to 3.5 centimeter glass layer. a thin layer can be formed by drying. By drying, when it is keep room temperature some few times, then the thin solid gel layer is formed on the glass plate. Okay, very simple thing. The baseline should be drawn with the pencil and sample should be placed on the silica gel layer and enclosed in a solvent chamber as the above paper chromatography method. Same method, same as previous. When the solvent front reach about 1 centimeter, when the solvent front reach about 1 centimeter from the top of the column can be removed from the chemical compound. Can be using we can remove, and using chemical compounds we can identify compounds. Okay, then the page number 14, I have given a figure how to prepare a TLC plate, thin layer chromatography plate, and how we place the chromatography plate in the solvent chamber. After that, how compounds are formed after visualizing compounds. Okay, that's the column chromatography. Okay, now we need to discuss about the summary of the paper chromatography and column chromatography. Okay, now we discuss two main type of chromatography method: the paper chromatography and paper chromatography. Paper chromatography. Paper chromatography and TLC, thin layer chromatography. Thin layer chromatography. In every chromatography method, the mobile phase and there is a two phase as mobile phase and stationary phase. Understand carefully. Every chromatography type, there is a mobile phase. There are two phases like mobile phase and stationary phase. 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 Okay, now the paper chromatography in the exam, in paper chromatography, the mobile phase is if they ask the mobile phase of the paper chromatography, always the mobile phase meaning is it is traveling. The mobile mean that it is traveling. The mobile phase in paper chromatography always use in solver. Okay, that is always use solver. It is use solver. Use solvent is the mobile phase. The use solvent is this solvent is the mobile phase. Remember that this solvent in the solvent in the solvent chamber is the mobile phase in the paper chromatography. And the stationary phase is you need to write the holes on the chromatography paper or Watchman paper. Holes on the chromatography paper. Holes on the chromatography paper. Okay, they are the answers for mobile phase and stationary phase for paper chromatography. Paper chromatography. Mobile phase is the use solvent, that means traveling agent. The traveling agent The mobile phase and stationary phase actually meaning is in this chromatography paper, from baseline to solvent front, the compounds are traveled by the solvent. Okay, that's it. That is traveling. Okay, then the solvent is the mobile phase. It is the traveling. And the stationary mean that help to travel compound, but it's not moving. They are the holes in the chromatography paper. They are holes in the chromatography paper. Therefore, don't write chromatography paper. The chromatography paper or the holes on the chromatography paper. Holes. The compounds are moving through the holes on the chromatography paper. Okay, that's paper chromatography. Okay, prepare your short note well. Then very easy this lesson. Okay. In thin layer chromatography method, the mobile phase is not changing. The mobile phase is use solve. Use solve. The mobile phase is use solvent. The stationary phase, stationary phase, the stationary phase, the stationary phase is, what do you think? What is the stationary phase in thin layer chromatography? Think and tell me. In paper chromatography, the mobile phase is use solvent. The stationary phase is holes on the chromatography paper. In TLC method, what is the mobile phase? It is what is the phase? Very good, Amar. What is the phase? Help to travel the compound. That should be travel. That also this phase also travel. Then it is solvent. Then what is the stationary phase? Okay, send me all what you think. Now you can imagine. Now you already know thin layer chromatography. In thin layer chromatography, what is the stationary phase? Yes, as you all mentioned, it is silica gel. Very good. Silica gel. The silica gel. The stationary phase understand. Oh, whatever alumina or silica gel. Good. Whatever you need to identify, the stationary phase is that is help to carry compound into upward, but it is not moving. The stationary phase is not moving. The in mobile phase mean that help to carry compounds upward, but it is also moving. That is always solvent. That's always solvent. The stationary phase, method to method, the stationary phase is changing. Okay, I think you got in the thin layer chromatography. I have given first in thin layer chromatography the stationary zone is silica gel. Now you can understand, and the mobile zone can be hexane, dichloromethane. They are solvents. Okay, hexane, dichloromethane, water. Okay, that can be polar or non-polar solvent. Okay, are you good up to now? Up to now, understood? Up to now, understood? Okay, do we need this one draw? Okay, I'll give you 1 minute to if you want to draw. Then we start in column chromatography, our final chromatography method. I complete. Are you done? Can I guess? Okay. Now we move into our third chromatography types, that is column chromatography. That is column chromatography. That is column chromatography. Column chromatography. Column chromatography. Column chromatography. The column chromatography mean actually same as paper chromatography and thin layer chromatography. The column chromatography not a one of identification method. It is the column chromatography. Actually, it is a separation method. The column chromatography is a separation method, not a identification method like paper chromatography and uh, thin layer chromatography, TLC method. Okay. For column chromatography, we need burette. First of all, we need to find a burette. Burette. Do you have seen burette? I think biosystems student already know what's a burette. Burette for titration practical we use burette, no? Amavi, do you know the burette? The burette is this. Wait, I will show you. Okay, this is the burette. That is for titration practical we normally use. That is a 1 meter height. It contain 1 meter height uh, glass tube, 1 meter height glass tube, and there is a valve in the bottom. Okay, they are the burette. They are the burette. It's a burette. Okay, this is a burette. It contains 1 meter height glass tube, and this is a burette. 1 meter height glass tube. You can see they have 1 meter height glass tube, and there is a valve here. We can open and close this valve. Okay, this is a valve. Okay, that's the burette. In our column chromatography, as the column, we use this type burette. Okay, we use this type burette as the column. As the column, we use burette. Now we use burette. Okay, in this method, in this method, first of all, we need to prepare our column. Prepare our column. In our column, it is like this. First of all, we need to get a view rate. We need to get a view rate, and that's a view rate. This view rate is not this much thick. It is very thin, but for you understand, I will little bit large. Okay, then this is a view rate, and the below end it contain a valve like this. There is a valve here. There is a valve here. Okay, this is the view rate. Okay, this is a view rate, and it has a mark up to 0 to 100. The length is 1 meter. Normally it is 1 meter height. Okay, if you go to the page number 15, I have given a column, figure of column. This is the column. The parts not I have labeled. You have to label with me. Okay, now in this column, first of all, you have to add. First of all, you need to close the valve, and add a cotton layer here that we called as cotton layer. Cotton layer. Cotton layer. Each layer, what is the reason you should know? I will explain later. First of all, identify first layer, small cotton layer you need to add for this column. Okay. As second layer, you need to add like 5 centimeter, 5 centimeter. It can be changed. That not in this one don't have rule as 5 centimeter. Somehow you need to add a sand layer. Sand layer like 5 sand layer, approximately 5 centimeter sand layer. Okay, after that, this 5 centimeter to like 80 centimeter. Okay, like 80 centimeter, approximately 80 centimeter. 80 centimeter, you need to add silica or alumina gel. This layer must be silica or alumina gel. Then what we doing, we prepare a solution of silica or alumina gel. Then we slowly pour into this column. Then after we keep some time in room temperature, they become solid. Then semi-solid, not solid, semi-solid. Then it is a form a gel layer like this. Complete gel layer like 80 centimeter approximate. After that, again we need to add 5 centimeter. This is silica or alumina gel. Silica or alumina gel. Alumina gel. Silica or alumina gel layer. After that, finally at the top of the column, you need to add again like approximately 5 centimeter. Approximately 5 centimeter, again sand layer. Again sand layer. Okay, that is the column we need to prepare first. First, we need to prepare the column for the column chromatography. For this column, as chamber, we use burette. We use burette. And the first layer is a cotton layer. The second layer is a sand layer, approximately 5 centimeter. The up to approximately 80 centimeter silica or alumina gel. At the top, approximately 5 centimeter, again sand layer. Okay, again sand layer. Okay, I have given here the column. You can label it. This is a cotton layer. This one is cotton layer. This is the sand layer. This is the alumina or silica gel. And this is again sand layer. If you want this side, you can mention the dimensions if you want. you want dimension, and this one name as burette. Burette is the column. Burette is the column. Burette within bracket column. Okay, quickly complete. Complete. Arshit, okay? Govin, complete. Govin, do you have tunes, no? You have tunes, no? Yes. Okay. Okay, now understand final part of the community. Now, after prepare this column, actually, I told this is not a identification method. Actually, this is a separation method only. That's why I told like this. In this method, normally we use this method for if this one thing we have one crude product that contain huge impurities. Okay, there is a one crude product. It has huge impurities. In this case, in these cases, we use this column chromatography. Why we can't use thin layer chromatography or paper chromatography for this like this crude product? Why? What do you think? Why we can't use? Example. Think example. This is a crude product. This is a crude product. This is a crude product. That means extracted product. Extracted product. It contains huge amount of impurities. Okay, then if I do paper chromatography or column chromatography, what is the problem come? What do you think? It contains huge amount of impurities. Then if I do directly paper chromatography or column chromatography, what is the problem coming? What do you think? What is the problem coming? What do you think? Amar, what do you think? What's the problem coming? Is this food product, if I going to identify directly by paper chromatography or TLC method, what is the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? They won't separate the compound. Yes. No, I asked if I do directly paper chromatography or thin layer chromatography, what is the problem while the identification? What do you think? Others? Arshad, what do you think? Amar, what do you think? What happened? It become like this problem. This is the problem. Identify the problem. If it is contain huge amount of impurities, think this is baseline and this is solvent front line. After paper chromatography or thin layer chromatography, this is A and this is control sample. Control sample, no issue. It is only one sample, only one compound. But if it is A sample, yes, overlap. Very good. Yeah, that is the term. The compounds are overlapping like this. The compounds are overlapping like this and like this. We can't separately identify compounds. Compound distance we can't identify separately. That is the problem. Okay, very good, very good. That's the problem. The compound droplets, they are overlapping. Then can we calculate this time chromatography paper or TLC plate the RF values? RF value how we calculate? We can't identify separately compound. Then how we get the distance, correct distance? Okay, therefore this uh, because of this problem, we have to use the paper. Before we use paper chromatography or thin layer chromatography, we have to go through column chromatography for separation process. The separation process is like that. Understand that, very simple. The separation is like this. Okay, first of all, you need to prepare a column like this with these layers. Okay, after that, you need to get 5 milliliter small cups. 5 milliliter small cups. 5 milliliter small cup. 5 milliliter small cups. The grade of series of 5 milliliter cups, small cups you need to find, and you need to label. This is A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, number of 5 milliliter cups you need to find. This test tube also okay. Okay, then after that, the crude product with huge number of impurities, we need to carefully fill into the column. The above sand layer, onto the above sand layer, we need to carefully add this crude product onto the sand layer. Okay, then after adding, pour this crude product onto the above of the column, what happened? Through this silica or alumina layer, the heavy particles quickly come into the this container. Then after 5 milliliter filled, in a container, then we take the A container out and we go to the B. Then after B is filled, we go to the next one, C. Then D. Like this, we can fill if it is 20 milliliter in the crude product, we can A, B, C, D. We can separate our crude product into A, B, C, D like 5 milliliter 4 parts. Then tell me, heaviest compound on the crude product contain A container or B, D or BC. The heaviest compound in the crude product contain A container or D container. What do you think? The most heaviest compound, A or D? Very good. Because through this column, first travel heaviest compound. After that, according to the weight, their speed is depend. According to the time, their speed is depend. Finally, they travel least weight. That means very shallow compounds. Okay, very lightweight compounds coming at the end. Okay, therefore heaviest mass, heavy weight compounds come at the first. Then can you see, according to the weight of the compound, we can separate the crude product like A, B, C, D. If you want, you can get more test tubes, more small cups, 5 milliliter cups. If you want 10, if it is the crude product is 100 milliliter or 50 milliliter, you can find 10, you can separate into 10 parts. Okay, now as example, for simple example, I got only 4 cups. Okay, up to now understood? Yeah, A, B, C, D is our final separation part. Up to now, okay. There is another step. Up to now, okay. Any part unclear? I'll explain again. If there is in doubt, any steps? What I need to do? First of all, prepare the column with these layers: the cotton, sand, silica gel, silica or alumina, and sand layer. Then, if there are any crude product with huge amount of impurities, then we can separate by this column. We need to fill this into the upper end, and we can separate into parts by this like small cups, into small cups. Then you need to identify when it is filled through this silica or alumina gel. First travel heaviest compound, the lightweight compounds coming at the end. Okay, then according to the weight, the weight is increasing. According to the weight, we can separate compound into separate test tube. Okay, up to now, okay. Any doubt? Amar, up to now, okay. Shevon? Going up to now, okay. Okay. Okay, now I separated the crude product into uh, some amount of parts, no? Some amount of I separate. By this column chromatography, I separate. Now, as example, this 20 milliliter crude product, I separated into A, B, C, D like 5 millimeter containers. 5 milliliter containers. After that, this each A, B, C, D, 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 using thin layer chromatography or paper chromatography, after separation, we can again this A, B, C, D parts, that means separated parts, we can separately A, B, C, D and control sample, control sample, control sample, control. Okay, after separation like this, after separated, we can do again thin layer chromatography or paper chromatography. Then we can identify, then without any overlapping, we can identify compounds like this. Without any overlapping, we can identify compound like this A, B, C, D. Then the compound, the control one is like this. Then we can again calculate the RF value of each compound, and we can compare with the control sample RF value, and we can identify this A, B, C, D is a one crude product. No, think this is in this crude product contain this compound, the control sample compound or not, present or not. Okay. Okay, that's all about the column chromatography. Any doubt? Amar, understood? Mohammed, understood? Any doubt? Okay. Okay. Now go to the tube. The column chromatography. Here you can make the tower using burette. I told you. The burette can be filled with silica or alumina gel to form separation layers. If the chemical to be separated is a solid, suitable to solvent used to dissolve in a minimum volume. Okay, if our crude product is like a solidified one, then we add suitable solvent and we can prepare a thick solution. Otherwise, it is not separating. Then, if it is the crude product is uh, solid, we can add a solvent and prepare as a solution. Then let this drop from the upper end to the top layer of the sand. We need to add top layer of the sand and add the solvent to it. With solvent, if it is solid, we need to add a solvent. But now don't need. If it is a liquid, we don't need any solvent. Okay. The solvent level should be maintained continuously just above the sand layer. Always be adding speed. We can't add all crude product at once. We need to add small part by part. We need to add. Always keep the solvent layer above the sand layer. The sample separated into component as most through the static zone. More through the static zone, that means these gel layers, they are separate according to the weight. According to the weight. Collect the separated sample into component 5 centimeter from the bottom end of the burette into the label tubes. Labels tubes, the 5 centimeter height or 5 millimeter containers you can use, no issue. Here, depending on the polarity of the compounds in the mixture, the solvent used in mobile zone or the impurity used in separated into components, separated into impurities, and according to the weight they are separated. The assembled tubes can be identified by examining them with thin layer chromatography. Okay, after that thin layer or paper chromatography also we can use, but the recommended way is thin layer chromatography because when we consider thin layer chromatography and paper chromatography, thin layer chromatography and paper chromatography, the best method is thin layer chromatography. What is the reason? What do you think? What is the main advantage of thin layer chromatography? What do you think? The tube given, the final point, the assembled tubes can be identified. The separated tubes can be identified by examining them with the thin layer chromatography. Okay, it don't have given paper chromatography. Why is that? When we compare thin layer chromatography and paper chromatography, what is the advantage of this thin layer chromatography? What do you think? What are the advantages? Now you already know. What is the advantage? Thin layer and paper chromatography. What is the thin layer chromatography advantage? What do you think? What are the advantages of thin layer chromatography when comparing with the paper chromatography? The main advantage is in thin layer chromatography also we use silica gel, no? As the stationary phase, silica gel. Therefore, more than holes on the paper, more than chromatography paper, better to use silica gel thin layer because through this silica gel, easy to move this compound, easy transfer. That's why more than if any questions came from compare the thin layer chromatography and paper chromatography, you can mention in thin layer chromatography through this silica gel layer, easy to remove, easy to transfer compound through this silica gel layer more than holes on the chromatography paper. Okay, then that's the point. That's why more than thin layer paper chromatography, the thin layer chromatography is recommended way in chromatography techniques. But if you can't do thin layer chromatography, you can use paper chromatography and you can identify. It's no issue. Okay, now after the separation process in the column chromatography, you can identify this compound using thin layer chromatography. If you can't use thin layer chromatography, paper chromatography also better to identify. Whatever method, after separated, you have to identify why this thin layer column chromatography we use when the impurity level is very high in the crude product. That's why we use, if we use without column chromatography, if we use thin layer or paper chromatography, what happens? The compounds are overlapping. Therefore, we can't separately identify this compound. That's why we are doing column chromatography before we use the thin layer and thin layer or paper chromatography. Any doubt? That's all about chromatography. Now we going to finish the chromatography. Any doubt in the chromatography types or whatever steps? No? Okay, if you don't have doubt, tell me the final point. Tell me why we use a cotton layer at the first layer of the column. At the very bottom layer, it is a cotton layer. What is the reason? What do you think? That also exam questions. They are the exam questions, very simple questions. Why we use cotton layer as a first or bottom layer, most bottom layer as uh, in this column chromatography. What do you think? What's the reason? Very good, Chevan. Others? Think and take think. Simple reason. No, no. Or send me what is the reason for the first layer we use cotton layer. What is the reason? Amal, what's the reason? Arshad? Arshad one row. You one row. Amar? Very good. Others? Yes, I think all the idea is correct. The actual purpose in this cotton layer is to keep the sand layer without exit with the solvent. Okay, that means to hold the sand layer without exit from the column. Okay, to prevent sand go out from the column. Okay, that's the reason. Okay, why we add silica or alumina gel? What is the function? Separate the compound according to the weight. Okay, your answer should be like this: separate the compound according to the weight. That's the function of this alumina or silica gel. Why we add sand layer at the first? What is the reason? What is the purpose? That's a very important. That's the exam question. Why we add at the top layer 5 centimeters sand layer? No, Adish, to drain the compound slowly. Yeah, yeah, they also correct. Yeah, two answers now. To prevent splitting and spreading around the solvent spreading. Yeah, that also correct. To drain the compound slowly. That also correct. But there is another main reason. That's not. They are not the main reasons. Okay, others try to give the main reason why we add this 5 centimeters sand layer at the top of the column. No, Adish, no separate. By sands, no separate. They separate by the silica. Very good. The at the top, the sand layer is a protecting layer. When we add this solvent and crude product directly, if we add directly into the silica gel layer, the silica gel layer disturb damaging. Okay, that's why we add a sand layer at the top. And okay, why this sand layer? What's the reason? This sand layer also not clean. Yeah, they also purpose, but the main reason is to avoid damage to the silica gel layer. Okay, your answer must be that if any structured question asks what is the purpose of adding 5 centimeter sand layer at the top of the column, you need to write down to avoid damage to the silica gel layer. That's the answer. Other answers also correct, but they are not the main reasons. Yeah, all answers to clean, to separate, to drain compounds slowly, all answers correct. Prevent speeding, yeah, all are correct, but they are not the main reason. The main purpose is to avoid damage to the uh, silica gel layer. To avoid damage to the silica gel layer. Okay, this sand layer, what is the purpose? This layer, the bottom sand layer, what's the reason? The bottom sand layer, what's the reason? Actually, this one also important to prevent go out silica gel. The silica gel is a semi-solid one. If it is only if it is the protect, that's why both up and down sides of the silica gel we place sand layers, because to protect the silica gel layer without any disturbance. Then the compounds very slowly come through the silica gel and separating, and after sand layer it is go out to the containers. Okay, to protect both sides, the sand layer purpose is protect the silica gel layer. Okay, that's all about chromatography. Now the separation and identification process is completed. Before that, in column chromatography, what is the stationary phase? Column chromatography, what is the stationary phase? That's also a chromatography type. Column. What is the stationary phase? So can you repeat the advantage of thin layer chromatography again? So can you tell the why we use sand layer in the top of the burette. Yeah, a lot of questions asked one at once. Oh, first question, can you repeat the advantage of thin layer chromatography again? It's not an advantage, Amavi. If I compare this paper chromatography and thin layer chromatography, more than paper chromatography, in thin layer chromatography, we use silica gel layer, silica gel thin layer. Through this silica gel layer, compounds easily traveling more when compared with the paper. That's the advantage. That's the advantage. Okay, that's not the special advantage, but if I compare, that's the advantage of TLC method. But this through paper also compounds traveling, compounds moving, but more than that, the silica gel is better. That's why the always recommend to use TLC method if you can use. If you the silica TLC method little bit difficult more than paper chromatography because the chromatography paper already available in the laboratory. Then you can draw the baseline and solvent front. You can easily use that. But thin layer chromatography, you have to prepare a thin layer, prepare thin silica layer. It will be difficult, but it is very good method to separate compounds easily because through this silica gel easily compounds are traveling. Okay, now I ask the stationary phase of the. There is another question. Can you tell why we use sand layer in the top of the burette? Yeah, I told Arshad. At the top to avoid damage to the silica gel. To avoid damage to the silica gel. Okay, the stationary phase of the column compressor. Silica gel, very good. Silica gel. Silica gel. The mobile phase, mobile phase, again solvent, very good. Solvent. Solvent we add to the crude product. Solvent we add to the crude product. I told if it is not as a solution, we need to add a solvent here and mix it. This solvent is the mobile phase. Mobile phase is this solvent. Okay. Okay. Any other point to discuss about chromatography? Yeah. Phases we discussed. Three methods. Okay. Any doubt, ask? Any step? Then it is easy. If you want to draw this and this already marked. If you want a step in the chromatography, column chromatography, you can mark on your short note. Again, one point I need to mention about chromatography. Okay, complete your drawing first. Only one point we have discussed in the chromatography. Okay. Complete? Are you complete drawing? Okay, now, okay, I told, when we draw this baseline and solvent front line in thin layer chromatography and paper chromatography, when you draw this solvent front line and baseline, what if there was an exam question, what are the factors you need to consider while drawing this solvent front line and baseline? Okay, can you send me what are the factors you need to consider? Okay, I will explain. One factor is dimensions. The baseline 1.5 centimeter above the below end. The solvent front line 1 centimeter below the top edge. That's a one factor. Can you explain another three factor? Can you explain another three factor? Yeah, one is okay. One is okay. Very good. Others? Yeah, for Adish, I have explained. Others, drawing extremely thin lines so as to prevent damage. Very good. The second factor must be you have to draw a very thin layer without any damage into the paper or thin layer. Okay, without any. I am explaining both. Okay, both thin layer chromatography and paper chromatography. When you draw this uh, lines, we need to use the second factor. You can explain. You have to use very thin pencil. Okay, thin pencil you can use. The third factor, you have to careful to avoid any damage to the paper or thin layer. If there are any damage, if there are any damage, what happened? If there are any damage, what happened? Then the compounds are retained in this damage point. They are not travel. They are not travel. That's a disadvantage. Therefore, we need to very carefully we need to draw this line. Okay, what are the other factors? What is the other one factor? The first one is the dimensions. The second one is the very thin layer, thin pencil we have to use. The third one is we need to avoid damage to the paper or thin layer. Another one factor we need to consider. Another one. Anyone? Okay, they are the factors. Only three. Okay, remember these factors. Remember them. Always exam asking these factors. We have to use correct dimensions. We have to use a thin pencil and even using thin. Yeah, the gel should be completely solidified. They are not while drawing a line. Okay, that's also correct. But that's three now. Okay, the final one is if we even you use thin pencil, it is we need to avoid damage to the paper, or if it is damaged, the compounds are not more moving upward. Okay, they are retained in this damage point. They can retain. Okay, they are the everything about chromatography we discuss. Okay, now we move into our next part, the purification method. The purification methods. Purification method. Purification methods. Purification methods. Now 9:10. Can we continue today class 9:30? Then we can complete this lesson. Only purification methods. Then patent. 9:30. Okay. In the purification method also we discuss three main types. Don't ask every steps why we discuss three steps. Yeah, we have more than three steps. We can find 10 methods also, but in our syllabus we discussed only three methods for each extraction, identification and separation. That's chromatograph method, and purification also we only discuss three methods. Okay, the first purification method is recrystallization. 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 Okay, write down here in the tube. Write down the recrystallization. The crystallization. Recrystallization. The second one is given space. Write down given space. The second one should be sublimation and deposition. Sublimation and deposition. Deposition. Sublimation and deposition. The third purification method is distillation. Distillation. The third purification method is distillation. Okay, they are the main purification methods we discussed in this lesson. Recrystallization, sublimation and deposition, distillation. Distillation mainly three types as we discussed last day. The simple distillation, same, okay, simple distillation, steam distillation, fractional distillation. Fractional distillation. Okay, they are the methods we can use for purification process. The distillation is the purification method as well as that also a extraction method. No, the distillation is the extraction method, same as purification method. Okay, now we move into our first one, recrystallization. 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 Okay, this recrystallization is very simple. Go to the page number 16, the given figure. Go to the page number 16, given figure. Okay, if you understood this figure, that's enough about recrystallization. In recrystallization, first of all, think the before that you need to understand this. Every purification methods You can't apply for every compound. Okay, that's each method is specific for some specified compounds. Okay, you will understand after I explain the recrystallization method. As example, the recrystallization method you can't use for every compound purification. That's that's we can use only for compound with this recrystallization. Recrystallization, the meaning I think you can understand. But again, crystallization. Again become crystals. Okay, only compound with this crystallizing ability only, we can use this recrystallization process. Okay, recrystallization process. Okay, pure. Okay, first of all, in this recrystallization, first of all, think you have a crude product. Think you have a crude product. Think this is a crude product. This crude product has, this is compound. This is compound. Blue color one are compounds and lot of impurities. The red color dots are impurities. Think of, they are impurities. Red color impurities, blue color compounds. Okay. Red color impurities, blue color compounds. Then you can see lot of impurities and small amount of product. No? Small amount of compound, required compound. Okay. Now, first of all, we need to add a suitable solvent. We need to add a suitable solvent according to the polarity, suitable solvent into this crude product. After that, all this solution, after mixing well, we need to heat. Remember, for the first step is we need to heat this solution. The first step is heat the solution. Entire solution we need to heat. Heat and mixing. After mixing, the entire solution become as a same solution. Become as a same solution. Okay. The impurities are dissolving and become as a, and solvent adding, everything become as a same solution. After that, after heat, we add special compound, special material. They are activated carbon. Activated carbon. After adding activated carbon, as second step, we cool the, using ice or ice water, we cool this solution. Okay, we cool this solution. While we cooling, what happened? While we cooling, think they are the activated carbon. We added previous step, third step. They are the activated carbon. Now these impurities and compound again here dissolving, and when it is cooling, they convert as a crystals again, like salts. Okay, like salts. They crystals. Then again think this is compound. This is blue color compound, and the red color impurities. With this activation carbon, it has a special ability to attract impurities. Attract impurities. Okay, then what happened? When they again crystallization, this activated carbon attract some amount of impurities. They can't attract 100%, but they can attract some amount of impurities in this solution. Okay, after that, we can, after that, we remove this activated carbon, we remove it. Activated carbon, we remove it. Remove activated carbon. Remove activated carbon means charcoal. Okay, charcoal. Remove charcoal. Charcoal. Okay, after we removing charcoal activated carbon, then some part of impurities are go out from the solution. Then after that, we need to filter the solution. Third step, filter the solution. Filter by a vacuum filter. Filter by vacuum filter. Vacuum filter. Vacuum filter. Filter by vacuum filter. Filter by vacuum filter. The vacuum filter means like this. The vacuum filter is like this. Understand? The vacuum filter is like this. The vacuum filter is like this. I have given a figure. That's a funnel. That's a funnel, and there is a vacuum pump we connect to this funnel, and there is a filter paper here. There is a filter paper, and there is vacuum pump we connect to here. After that, what happened with this vacuum pump? This absorb air, because of that this air and vacuum pump contact, and we remain part of the solution we add here into the filter paper, into the filter. Remain part of the solution we add to the filter paper. Add to the filter paper. Okay. Now we switch on the vacuum pump. Switch on the vacuum pump. Switch on the vacuum pump. Then what happened? The air absorb. Think this is the solution. Then what happened? Air absorb from the out, and it is go absorbed by the vacuum. Vacuum in you already know. It is vacuum. Then what happened? Some solutions, solvents, and other impurities filtered through this filter papers. The specific required pore size filter papers we need to find. Okay, we need to find a required pore size filter papers according to the compound. And after filtering, we need to again continue this vacuum pump to the remain compound until the dry. Because of air flowing, they become dry. Finally, they become dry on the filter paper. Okay, that is the compound we separate. That's the secondary metabolites we need to separate. Okay, that's the recrystallization process we discussed in the purification methods. Understood, or do I need to explain again? All steps I have given in the tute. Yeah. Only we can use for, again from the cooling part. Okay, up to cooling it is easy. After cooling, we can remove charcoal. We can remove charcoal. Then some part of impurities we can remove. Then I will take a new page for explain the final part. Then you will understand. Okay, final part. The final part is like this. That's a funnel. That's a funnel. And there is a filter paper here. There is a filter paper, and funnel. This is the flask, and this is the crude product after cooling process. We need to add after removing charcoals. We need to add onto the filter paper, and we need to add here. We need to add a vacuum pump. Vacuum pump add into the connect into the this system filter. Okay, now when we add the remain after cooling, after remove charcoals, after add remain compounds onto the filter papers, then we switch on the vacuum pump. After vacuum pump switch on, what happened? According to the pore size, only more than four compounds, more than size of pore size remain, and other all compounds come to the filter and come to this bottom container. Okay, that part we removing, and the remain compounds we separate as the secondary metabolites. The filter paper selecting, you have to careful. Okay, you have idea about the compound pore size. Sorry, compound size, compound diameter. What are the optimized? Sorry, what are the impurities came out from that vacuum pump? What are the impurities mean? We don't know what are the impurities. Somehow they are not compound. Impurities. Impurities, we don't know what are the types. Actually. Yeah, not vacuum pump. They are not go through the vacuum pump. They are come to the this container and collect. Then the compound remain on the filter paper. We can dry again using the continuous work in this field vacuum pump. Yeah. Tomorrow, I forgot to send a message. Okay, I will send now. Okay, final method. I got the recrystallization. Please read the note. I have given every steps here. Okay, purification by deposition and sublimation. Sublimation and deposition. The sublimation and deposition. Sublimation and deposition. Deposition. Okay, sublimation and deposition also very simple. Now 9:30, no? That is very simple. The sublimation and deposition mean, you know what is sublimation? Sublimation in heat lesson we discussed sublimation mean. But sublimation. Amar, what is sublimation? No, no, all are wrong. Sublimation means gas to solid. Direct transaction from solid to gas. Yes. Directly transfer solid into gas without converting to liquid. No? Without converting to liquid, solid convert into gas. The deposition mean what? The gas directly transfer to the solids without converting to liquid. Okay. Okay, that is the sublimation and deposition. Sublimation and deposition. Okay. Now, this method I told like water-like compounds, ethanol-like compound, they are not go through this sublimation and deposition. I told the like sodium, iodine, like special compounds only doing happening sublimation and deposition. Special compound. Samely, the in secondary metabolites also only special compounds only has these characteristics. Have this characteristic. Therefore, first of all, this method, if this compound has this characteristic, we can first of all heat the compound, heat the solution. While heating, what happened? While heating, they solid directly convert into gas. Directly convert into gas. Compound. Compounds directly convert into gas. Sublimation means at the top, if I close the container, at the top we can separate. I told every sublimation compounds go through the deposition also. No? The iodine, as example, iodine just evaporate. That means sublimation. If I collect them, it is sublimation again. Samely, after sublimation, we can separate them as solids, as solid compound. They are not valid for every compound, only for specific compound. They each method for specific compounds only. Okay, that is the sublimation and deposition. You can read the note. Next day we discussed about the patent intellectual property part. That's 10 to 15-minute parts. Then we start to industrial chemistry next week. Industrial chemistry next week mean I think June, no? This is the final week for this month. Am I correct? Yes, this is the final week. Therefore, you have only 4 months. No? You have only 4 months. Therefore, work hard now. And we have to arrange some additional extra time for your theory class. The revision class, no, we have time, enough time. But theory class, we don't have enough time to complete this bulk lessons. Okay, when we can get additional time, additional 2 hours enough. Then this time is continue 3 hours, and additionally, if you can 2 hours, it's better. Then 5 hours, if we continue these lessons, we can complete within 3 months. We can complete. Then we can this time also we can get for the revision. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, when we can arrange? Uh, when? It is okay to okay, it is Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday. Saturday, Saturday full day I'm okay for the class. Uh, okay, can we arrange 9 to 11 any day? 9 to 11 p.m. extra time. So let's continue on Tuesday itself. Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday class, no any change. I want additional. The Tuesday, no any change. The Tuesday, 6:30 to 9:30, 3 hour, we continue. I want additional 2 hour. How much? Wednesday. Wednesday, our 26th class, no? Okay, I will check and I will send you what is the most applicable type. Can't we get additional 2 hours also on Tuesday? Tuesday we can. Are you okay? Okay, Tuesday if I go to 11 p.m. with break, okay. It's tired, no? If you okay, I'm okay. I can manage. I can give 9:30. I can give you break and start. We can continue up to 11:30 as revision day. Okay, we'll see. From next month, I need. This month, okay. Do till 12, no problem. Okay. Okay, we'll see. Okay, then good night. We'll meet next Monday.